How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm excited, man. It's been a good day so far. Lots of good knowledge, and I'm excited for what the people are about to learn. You're gonna be talking about getting sticky, right? Grow your How to grow your database every single day.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I'll be the only one talking about getting sticky. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're gonna take the crown on that one.
Yeah, buddy. Well, this is just stuff that I've learned over the years, Mitch, that when I talk to people every day that are struggling in the business, and sometimes it's a major struggle, and sometimes it's just kind of a an irritation. I realize this is one of the things. Sorry, I'm trying to just adjust this camera a little bit here. This is one of those things that I don't know. I guess people talk about it, but I have 20 years, 20,000 hours in the coach's chair of listening to what's working for people and listening to people's struggles. So let me give you an example of this. It's going to happen today. Like I was just listening to Keith just before me here, and there was some really good stuff there. I came in at the end, so I didn't hear all of it, but I loved what I was hearing. And here's my experience, Mitch, and I'll bet you see this a lot as a facilitator and a creator of events. I see people saying, "Hey, what exactly did you say? Or could you say that again? Can I record that?" And what I don't see is top producers, in my experience, the most highly effective people that I've ever coached, they never ask that question. They never ask, what are the exact words that you just said? Instead, they lock into an idea. And so let me try and expand on that a little bit. If right now you're a loan officer, and I may very well be talking to a bunch of people right now that can relate to this, so feel free to throw this into comments if you feel like, yeah, man, this is this is me. Um, what I was doing isn't working. May 10th came and went. Oh, hey, there was a little encouragement there, and there was a refi wave for about a minute, and then it went away. And look, we know the market's coming again, right? We know that it's going to be back. But if you find yourself sort of bobbing up and down with the waves of the market, it's a miserable place to be, man. It's just a miserable place to be. So what I call getting sticky is this mindset shift of, okay, I have to figure out how to change my model a bit. And so I want to ask this hypothetical question of the audience. And that is like, what if you never had to worry about interest rate fluctuation again as it relates to your success in the business? What if you never had to worry about that? And you'll say, yeah, well, that's crazy, coach. Like, what are you talking about? Well, let me give you an idea. I'm gonna bring up a sheet here so I read exact numbers. I've developed a phobia, Mitch. I may have told you this, of presenters who make up numbers on the fly and they can't be documented. Like,
Right.
it drives me a little bit crazy, right? So here's what I know, and these were both at a moment in time, so the numbers are different now. But you probably know Wally Elibiari in Dallas. He wrote a great book called 24/7 Mindset, which means work 24 hours a week, 7 months a year. Like as a loan originator, that's got to be pretty appealing to people. And what he figured out how to do, this was during the days when he was working with Todd Duncan. He was on the stage a lot at Sales Mastery. And while he was talking about how he was using HomeBot and it could also be My Home IQ, like whatever tool works for you there, to connect with financial planners, wealth advisors, insurance agents, and help them to build their databases. And he began to bring them referrals. And so in the process, based on the law of reciprocity, he began to get referrals. At the time that I wrote this down a year and a half ago, he had 28,000 people in his database. I'm going to pause on that for a minute. That's a big number. Here's what I know. If I had 100 LOs in a room and I asked them without teeing it up like that, like I wouldn't have just said that, right? If I just said blind question, hey, you guys, how many people in your database? I would hear 273, 351, and I'd be like, cool. So who are those? Past borrowers and realtors. Cool. So let me tell you a story about Wally. Wally's got 28,000. David Jaffe, an old friend, been in the business out here for probably 20 years, semi-retired at this point. I think he's actually looking for somebody to take over his business. A few years ago, he did 300 million, 600 units, and he's got 17,000 people in his database. Do we see a pattern here? They got a bunch of people in their database. So here's my challenge to you. And I'm talking to you guys right now, like I'm talking to you. If you don't have enough people in your database, the answer is not buying leads from Zillow. Hopefully they're not a sponsor today, but I'm going to say it again. The answer to your problem is not buying leads on Zillow. That's not the answer. The answer is to get sticky. And I mean sticky like fly paper. God forbid if you've ever used those little sticky traps with rice or mice or rats. Ugh. But let's just go with fly paper. Fly paper seems a little bit more human because they're just flies, right? It's the idea is they stick to it, right? They just stick to it. So if you started moving through your days, Mitch, saying, I'm going to be sticky and I'm going to start connecting with everybody that I encounter. So what does this look like? Everybody moves through their days. They go to restaurants, they go to the dry cleaners, they go to fundraisers, they go to church, they go to sporting events. You meet people, cocktail parties, charitable event, right? You meet people. Be prepared for that moment. Don't wing it. Todd Duncan calls it the law of the dress rehearsal. Be prepared for that moment. So in that moment, so Mitch, I'm someplace, I meet you, golf course, one of my favorite places, right? I go out with a threesome often. Very often they add somebody into our group. And somewhere usually around the second or third hole, I'd be like, hey, what fills your days when you're not playing golf? Oh, I'm insurance, I'm this, I do that, I'm a pipe fitter, like whatever. Cool. That's interesting. And then they ask me, like, what do you do? And I tell them I'm a coach and nobody even understands what an executive coach is. So they kind of quit talking to me at that point. But if I was in LO, right? Yeah, it's like, I don't know what an executive coach is. But if I was in LO, I'd say I'm in the mortgage industry. And then I would follow up with words to this effect, because I'm not an exact words guy. I want you to get this idea. I'm in the mortgage industry, which always begs the question, tell me a little bit about your real estate story and then shut up. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to have people say things like, wow, funny you should ask. We have been trying to buy a house. We've lost 3 deals to all cash. We think we're just going to wait. We're going to wait for more inventory, lower interest rates. We're just going to wait. Well, you and I know that's a bad plan. So here's what I would do. In that moment, I would say, oh, you know what? I've got something that I think you'd find really interesting. Pull up your phone like this so they can see it. Your thumbs are poised over the keyboard. And you say, I've got something I want to send you. I think you'd find really interesting on that. What's the best way for me to get this to you? You want me to text it or email it to you? Now, in that moment, they're probably not going to say, woo, 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 don't be getting all salesy on me, right? That's not what's going to happen. They're going to be like, well, yeah, man, I'd love to see that. Now, pro tip, you don't have to have anything handy. You go to the Google because it's all there, right? Or Chat GPT, and you just say, hey, here's their situation. So the situation they tell you is they were losing deals to all cash buyers, right? So you say cost of waiting, mortgage industry, and you get an article or a YouTube video or a quote or a graph, something that you're going to send to them, which says, I get what you're saying about waiting, but there's a cost to that. Or they tell you, yeah, we've outgrown our house. We're pregnant now. We're going to have kids. Really, we've got a condo. We're really going to need a house with a yard. You know what? I realize it's tough right now, but others have gone before you. I've got something I want to send to you. What's the best way for me to get that to you? And you hold up your phone again. Everybody's got a real estate story. Everybody's got a real estate story. And so what did I just do? Did I just add somebody to my database? Say yes.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I just added somebody to my database. So if I create a new discipline, Mitch, of every time I meet somebody, I'm going to add them into my database. Here's where it starts. You started by adding it into your phone. Your phone may or may not sync with your database. It doesn't really matter. I don't care how you do it. What I do know is this. Mitch, are you an Android or an iPhone guy?
Android.
See, I thought I liked you, but I can't really use you as an example. I'll bet it's the same though. Sorry, man. I only know on an iPhone, if I go to contacts, if I just go to the list and I scroll to the bottom, it'll tell me how many there are in there. It's probably true with an Android as well. Can you confirm that? I'd like to know. Yeah. So here's what I'd like to hear from you guys. I would love to know how many are in your contact list. Now, I've got about 3,000, but a bunch of those are restaurants and, yogurt shops and the tire shop. And you know what it's like, my American Airlines and all my travel information is in there. What do you think, bud? No? Okay, well, another good reason to get an iPhone, but that's not why I say that, of course. It's the point is you've got 1,000, 2,000 people in your phone. There's some way that you could go through there. And this is what I coach people to do. Like when I'm coaching somebody that says, Coach, I've been in the business 3 years, it's been miserable, and I've got 287 people in my database. Of course, their next thought is, how can I go buy leads? I need leads. Stop that. Stop thinking that way. Instead, build your database. And if you go to your phone, and let's say you've got 500, let's be real conservative. You've got 500 people in there that they're at your wedding, they're friends, they're relatives, they're people that you know, neighbors. Does that group know that you're in the mortgage industry? That's question number one. Number two, are they hearing from you on a regular basis so that you can educate them? And number three, are they in your database? My guess is the answer is no. So my gift to you today is if you want to get sticky, start with what you've already got in your hand. You've already got a bunch of people that you know you. Reach out to them, educate them, talk to them. How is it that the Fed keeps talking about dropping interest rates and mortgage rates keep going up? Like, how's that happening? Explain it to them. Everybody has that question. So that's the broad overview of this. And what I know is Gary Keller, you may have heard this, Mitch, over the years. Gary Keller used to talk about a group of people he called just Mets. Just, second word, METS. So I just met this person. That's what I'm talking about here, you guys. As you move and groove through your days, as you move and groove through life, if you just start becoming flypaper, like you put on a suit of flypaper, you're sticky as you move through your days and you start meeting people. You're helping them by asking them, tell me a little bit about your real estate story. Hey, I think I've got something that would be of interest to you. Let me send it to you. And then it begins. And then, like Michelle Berman says, and if you're not following Michelle Berman, make sure that you do. She is a former competitive swimmer at Rutgers University. She was whatever that longest distance is that they do in a pool, which I would have no idea. I mean, I can not die in a pool, but I'm not going to be out there competitively swimming laps. Right. She was talking a few months ago about this idea that she had that she said, when I get in the pool, Coach, I just focus on the black line on the bottom of the pool in the lane. Right. I just focus on the black line, and that's what I do. And I'm now writing a foreword for her book, which is called Black Line Thinking, because it's all about what if I just focus on this one thing? And I'm telling you that as a coach right now, this idea of getting sticky is something that you should do all the time. And what she coaches people to do, again, Michelle Berman, check her out, look her up on Instagram. She trains people how to use Instagram to get sticky. So we've all heard this stuff before. Have you heard the 10-10-10 model? Like Keith Collins used to talk about this a lot. It's you go in and you target people on Instagram in particular. You can certainly do this on Facebook and LinkedIn, but Instagram is kind of the play right now. And you're committing to 10 likes, 10 comments, and 10 DMs a day. So again, 10 likes, 10 comments, and 10 DMs a day. So you guys, if you're trying to connect with realtors right now, and I loved what Keith just said, right, by the way, that he got from Ryan Serhant said, collaboration and information, right? That's what they're looking for. Here's what Michelle teaches. Let's say that you go into Model Match, MMI, wherever you get your data, you've now got data on who the top producers are as realtors in your local market or the markets that you serve. You go in, find them on Instagram, you follow them, and then you start looking deliberately for, hey, what's going on in their life? What are they posting about? Unless it's the elections, like steer clear of that, steer clear of politics. But they're talking about their dog. Like my brother-in-law just told me he lost his dog recently, and he said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a golden retriever, but they're $8,000." And he said, "So I'm gonna go to the pound. I don't know where you sell an $8,000 golden retriever. I think I've been out of the market for a while." But you know what? You talk about the fact that, hey, love that you're going to the pound. No animal will love you like a rescue animal. And that's your comment to the realtor. You're not talking about rates, turn times, programs. You're not doing that. So, in a nutshell, that's getting sticky. I know that it will change the way that you roll through this business. And as you build your database up to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, Mitch, interest rates are going to matter to you less and less because people still have need for you. You just got to have the math in your favor. So that's getting sticky, man. Does that make sense?
Yep. And, I heard someone say one time, they're like, imagine, if you're 40 years old, imagine if you would have had an Excel spreadsheet and you put everybody you ever met from the day you graduated, went to high school with all your high school friends, all your college buddies, all the people you met, from then on out, and you were able to use that database. Imagine the kind of benefit that would have for you. Because for one, you can refer business to all these different people you like and trust that you met. And you'd be like, oh, this person runs a cafe. You should go visit her cafe. This person does insurance. You should call him if you need an insurance quote. But, just imagine the power you would hold if you had every person you ever met and what they did and a phone number to contact them or an email in a database.
It's so true, man. And so look, my closing thought to this group will be, there's an old Chinese quote you've heard before, but let it resonate with you today. And it says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So maybe you didn't do that. Maybe you didn't have, like most of us, you didn't have a spreadsheet of everybody you've ever known. Maybe you just changed companies and you didn't bring your database over. Like, I get it, you guys. Maybe you haven't been in the business very long and you haven't been able to build it. But you can stick a flag in the sand today and say, I'm going to go through my phone. It's going to take a while. So it's work. Sorry. Stephen Pressfield wrote a book called Do the Work. This is work. You got to go into your phone. You got to pull out the people in there you want to stay in touch with, reach out to them, find out what's going on in their lives. Number two, you're going to start getting sticky as you move through the course of your days. You're going to start asking the question, hey, tell me about your real estate story, right? When the introduction occurs, and you're going to listen and you're going to send them something and you're going to add them to your database. Get sticky and let me know a year from now how it's going for you. Because my guess is your business is going to be a whole lot better and a lot easier.
I've got a couple LOs that I've been talking to that they post on their Facebook quite a bit and say, hey, I just did 2 pre-approvals today, who's next? And they just put their link, for an application in the comments. And I hear all these other loan officers be like, I need leads. I need, real estate partners. I need this, I need that. And I'm like, these ladies are crushing it by just simply telling their database what they do.
You bet.
And not everybody knows that you're a loan officer. Not everybody looks at your
about info
on Facebook.
Exactly.
And if you're not telling them, you don't have to advertise, hey, you don't have to make a commercial out of it. Just say, hey, I just got 2 people into a home before Christmas. Do you want to get into a home before Christmas? Here's my link. It's simple. It's easy. And that's a way to get sticky because, not all those applications are going to come through, probably as deals, but it's just people you can reach out to, add to your database. So 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the road,
you bet
you're grabbing more people.
So the idea that if you commit to the process, the results will take care of themselves is enormously encouraging. I found this in my own life, and I found it in coaching over 20 years, that if I can give somebody a proven process and it revolves around having meaningful conversations with more and more people, if you commit to the process, the results will absolutely take care of themselves. Only in a couple of examples, like if you're a human being that actually scares people physically, the way you sound, I mean, Mitch, you got a voice that's like you could do those PXG golf club commercials. You sound like a drill instructor. But you know what? If you're scary, that's not scary. You just sound convicted. But if you're scary to people, I'd probably find another industry, like, go be a plumber. But for most of you, you just need to be talking to more people. Just talk to more people, have more conversations, listen, find out what's going on in their lives, care about people. Use that 10-10-10 approach on social. Get sticky. And if I can ever be of value to you, reach out to me. I'm easy to find. Just track me down on social anywhere, DM me. I would be happy to schedule a call with you. If I can be of value to you, I'm here for you.
Awesome. Yeah. And I talked to a lot of loan officers doing these things and other stuff. And, there's ones that are struggling. And then, like you said, there's ones out there that haven't missed a beat because
For sure.
people are just coming to them because they've always come to them, and they're not always relying on the next lead. If you
Oh yeah,
have,
man. So I have a guy that I coach right now, Chris Conlon in Ventura, California, not far from me out here. Chris was in leadership with another company, got back into production recently, did 10 million last month. You guys did 10 million in October. Why? Because he committed to Instagram, he committed to creating content, he committed to educating. So follow him on Insta, you guys. Chris Conlon, Conlon. Just watch his posts. And by the way, he is a big scary guy. He's bald headed. He rolls on the mat with jujitsu, stuff. He could kill you in a second, but he's a warm guy and he educates people. So nearly every one of his posts is educating people about what's happening. And so he's not only educating the public, potential borrowers and buyers, he's educating his realtors in the process. So you tell me if what Keith said was right, and I think it is, that Ryan Serhant said that realtors were looking for, and that is collaboration and information. Is Chris doing that? I think he is. He's indirectly, he's not saying, hey, realtors. He's just talking to the world, right? Whoever's following him on Instagram. But the realtor takes it as, hey, this is a savvy guy. This is a guy I want to talk to my buyer. This is a guy that I want to have a conversation with, that I want to build a relationship with. So yeah, man, this is a wonderful opportunity. I know it sucks when the phone stops ringing, but what happens is you have an opportunity, like Mitch just said, to build market share. You can build market share. What did I read? Elon Musk is now worth an extra 300 billion after the election. Okay, like good things happen, right? Like good things happen when you put yourself out there. Now is the time. So maybe the last thing that I'll talk about real quick. Do we have another minute for this?
Yep.
I got a coaching session coming up, so I got to bolt. But video, you guys, I know that everybody talks about it. Kyle Draper is kind of the authority on this right now. Is Kyle on tomorrow?
Yeah, he's on tomorrow.
Don't miss Kyle Draper, you guys. I wrote the foreword for his book too, by the way. And I am a huge fan of Kyle, and he really understands the psychology of video. If you look at my setting right now and you say, well, he's got the mic and he's got the background, he's got the lighting, like that might be a deterrent for you. What Kyle's going to tell you is stop it. Just pick up the phone and hit record. You could be anywhere. You could be walking down the street. The algorithm favors that actually right now, that whole walking down the street thing for whatever reason. You start recording video, and here's what I know. People begin to learn who you are. When I started doing video 15 years ago, like go onto my YouTube channel, I'm not kidding, they're all still there. From 15 years ago, they were awful. I did have darker hair. I had smaller glasses. This is all 15 years ago. And I had a lousy mic. Like I had no mic. It was just whatever the microphone was on the iPhone at that time. And it just wasn't good. Those were rough videos, wind noise. Like who would watch them? They were too long. They were awful. Step into video and watch what happens. And then if you want a great production tip on how to convert it from what I just recorded on my phone to something that I can post with closed captions, subtitles, and quick edit editing. What am I looking for? Quick video editing. You know how they jump between points that you're making, so it implies that it's important. Good things are happening. Right. Emojis. Shred It. Josh Pitt's Shred It app is genius. It's absolute genius. Shred It, just like it sounds. Wherever you consume applications, go get that. Try it for a month. See if I'm not right. It is spectacular in its simplicity. It resides on your phone. You record the video. You hit upload. You tell them I want 1 line or 2 lines of caption, emojis, yes or no, and within, I think, 36 hours, you get that video back ready to post, and it looks fantastic. All of my videos, anything you've seen me do, you guys, in the last, I don't know, 90 days, it's all been on the Shred It app. So don't be afraid of video. People are going to say, I don't like the way I look. Sorry, that's the way you look.
Yeah, I like to say, you look the same on video as you do in real life. So are you afraid to walk into a room and say hello to people? I mean,
exactly.
It's all
exactly,
the same.
Man.
And, you know, our friend Steve Sims, you know, he always says, get started, then get good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know,
well, buddy, it's been a pleasure hanging with you today. I love the way that you put these events together, Mitch. You've got a great lineup. If you guys are here today, it has been my pleasure to hang out with you. But try and stay off other media while this is happening. Stay focused. Think of the money you saved on a hotel. You didn't have to spend a bunch of money to go sit in that hotel at some other city. You're able to do this from the comfort of your home or your home office. And just make great notes and then execute. And I'll say it again, if there's ever anything I can do to bring you value personally, reach out to me. Let's schedule some time. I'd be happy to come alongside you. Mitch, thank you.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. And as always, it's my pleasure to have you on these events, man. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, brother. Take care, you guys.
See ya.